Have you ever wondered what in the world God is doing to you? Or maybe that He's not taking care of you? Yeah, me too. Let's talk about it. Barry Smith here, author, husband, father, pastor of 25 years, and a guy who has felt like God abandoned me. I mean, I know He loves me, but sometimes it's like He's just not there for me. Maybe it's because I've ran away from Him or His best for me. Maybe it's because I was trying to do too many things on my own, or maybe I've been avoiding the direction that He's been wanting me to go. But whatever it is, I'm running from God. We saw in the last video that when people run from God, they run to the strangest places, the most dangerous places, the kinds of places where people who know them look at them and say, "You did what? You're going where? You're dating who? You started smoking what?" Maybe it's because you have the fear of missing out, or associated God with the church and bailed, or you just don't trust God. But regardless, we've all been there and done that and ran from God's best for our lives. And the one thing that's always consistent is that you can run from God, but you can't outrun God. He just loves you too much to make that happen. You know what else happens to people when they run from God? They eventually self-destruct. Their life unwinds and unravels, and they begin to self-destruct. It's usually not overnight or over a weekend, but over time, as they turn from God and run from Him, they self-destruct. It's inevitable. Because when you turn your back on God, you turn your back on three sources of God's best for your life. Number one, the source of wisdom and truth. You begin to make unwise, misinformed decisions, and eventually those decisions come back to haunt you. That's why I love the local church. It's full of ex-runners. If you're a runner, you're not alone. The church is supposed to be a safe place full of runners. But with all those ex-runners, once they stop running, we also find that there are all sorts of consequences because of all the previous running. There's financial problems, marriage problems, kid problems, and all sorts of negative junk to deal with. Because when people stop running and get back right with God and they say, "How could I have been so dumb?" they still got to deal with the issues. Here's how they could have been so dumb, though, because as educated as you are, as slick as you are, as smart as you are, as cool as you are, as rich as you are, as careful as you are, trying to be anyway, when you run from God, you make unwise, misinformed decisions that eventually come back to haunt you, and then it all begins to self-destruct because you run from your source of wisdom and truth. When you turn your back on God, you also turn your back on, number two, the source of unconditional love and acceptance. Every man and woman alive, no matter how tough or self-sufficient you think you are, you long to be accepted unconditionally, and no one but God can truly love you unconditionally like that. And when you turn your back on God, you're forced to try to fill that unconditional source of love with a world that just can't fill it. You try to squeeze that love out of relationships or your business or specific people. And when you try to fill your love tank with anything but God, you'll always wind up empty. When you walk away from the source of unconditional love and acceptance, you self-destruct. Many get married and say it's all her fault. And then you get married again and you say it's all their fault. So you run and you run and you run and you still can't find what you're looking for. Why? Because you put God and everything else in the rear view mirror of your life. You've ran from God. Maybe it takes a year, maybe 10 years or 20 years. But when people run from God, they turn their back on the source of wisdom and truth, unconditional love and acceptance. And the final source of God's best for you, when we turn our backs on Him, is the source of purpose. You see, everything God created was created for a purpose, and only the Creator knows for sure what that purpose is. You are God's creation, and apart from your Creator, you'll never know your true purpose in life because He's your source and you're running from Him. What a shame to live through your 20s thinking that your purpose will somehow magically happen in your 30s, and then in your 30s you're thinking it'll happen in your 40s, and then realize halfway through your 40s that life is just more of the same thing and has no purpose. And you keep thinking that as soon as, or once I do this, or if I will just let this happen, then I'll find my purpose. So you wait, and life goes round and round, and you get this awful sense of purposelessness. Oh, you can work, and you can run, and you can create, you can produce, marry, and love, but you'll always end up empty. Purpose is found with the Father, and you can keep running from Him, but you can't expect Him to provide when you do that. You've got to show up to receive, and that's the beauty of God. He's always there. You can run from Him, but you can't outrun Him. He loves you too much. So why keep running? Why turn your back on the source of wisdom and truth, love and acceptance, and your ultimate purpose? Why? it's just not worth it. And the consequences are always negative. God loves you and he wants your love. He wants you to stop running and start following him. But God is a gentleman and he won't force his way into your life. But when he calls, when he guides, when he instructs, when he convicts, just listen, pray, question him, get frustrated, then pray some more, and then follow him. Don't run from him. Are you a runner today? You're not alone. But that doesn't mean you should keep running. What do you think? Am I crazy to think that God is the source of your success? Or do you think it's wise to just make it on your own and do your own thing? Either way, let me know in the comments below. And if you're running, I'd love to pray for you. And as always, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. It helps us get the word out. I'd really appreciate it. Seriously, subscribing to this channel will help us keep going. And if you like our stuff, consider giving us a support tip on PayPal or tax-deductible donation at YouChoose.Community. The links are all below. So right now, go ahead and hit that thumbs up and share this thing, because no doubt somebody you know probably needs to hear this. And if you're ready to stop running from God, let me know in the comments below, and I will pray for you. Until next time, God bless.